All right, beloved, we'll do a little video on happy little accidents, right? On the path to adding to oneself. The great work, if you will. So, show this fucking viewer a little bit more. The great work, right? We are adding to ourselves, right? We are like spiritual entities in skin containers that can add values to itself, right? Or extract values, because education widely is extracting value that exists already, right? So we'll talk a little bit about a happy little accident that happened to me in my Kabbalistic journey to extra power, right? Supernatural ability, the God mind, whatever it is that ancient people had access to that made them great. Motherfuckers went around talking to everybody and we still talk about them today. Still talk about Menander, Iamblichus, Socrates, Plato, Neoplatonists, Abraham al-Risi, or not al-Risi, sorry, that's a guy got killed. The one where he would like take the Hebrew and what the fuck is this? Al-Mufti or something? I know I'm making fun of it at this point in time, but he would take the Hebrew words, right? And say that the connection with the God mind resided in the humming of the word or the orating, the kind of thing. Something to do with that? Yes, we are an instrument. We are a divine instrument, right? The entire humanity is divine, right? There is no human that's not divine, right? So all the things we do are divinely inspired. All the mind we get is piped into us. It's not our own, right? If your mind ascends, and those who have ascended their mind, there's many paths. It's 350 million individual ways out from the center, right? If you want it to be, as 350 million Americans, right? Could be 350 million, should be 350 million cohabitating realities. Because the divine spark we have is an individual reality. And if one could be detached from reality, or your realism, then we know that reality is a plastic process of your own schema, of your own stereotypy, of your own egos forming, right? So then reality is subjective and objective at the same time. It is not a creation is as much as it is a development, an evolution, a work in process, and a work in progress. If we could see Papa Noah right now, Big Papa, he'd have a hard hat on, right? And a bunch of plans out, like the grand architect, right? And we're master builders under him, right? Every one of us, whether you accept the journey or not. So, long interlude, short dispensation. So, I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you are doing anything with banishing or invoking, and I know you're going to hate me, people are going to hate me the way I say stuff. I'll be flat out for you. You know, I'm fucking doing it right. If you're doing anything with the zodiac and you're doing the pentagram, you're stupid, right? It's not for that, right? If you're doing anything with the planets, right? You're trying to get planetary power off you. Somebody who has planetary power has cast something on you, and you're trying to banish it with the pentagram, you're going to have a hard time. You need the hexagram. The hexagram is the stuff that's above the land, right? If you're fucking with everything from Malkuth up to the sun, your pentagram is going to be fine, for the most part. Really, everything above Malkuth, you really need the hexagram for, because the hexagram is what deals with the planetary powers. It has to do with the planetary coursings and stuff. My best suggestion for getting something out of it, because when you do the rituals, you use the names, right? Because it has to do with belief, right? Because God, the powers, there's many of them, right? It could be an amorphous blob that has so many aspects and wants you to act upon an aspect like a boss or an authorizer, and you appeal for rights and access, right? Anyways, that being said, there are things you can use, right? And I'm going to flip it around. This is the site you should be using, right? Kabbalah 2020 blogspot, right? This is the one. It's really Copenhagen Kabbalah. Copenhagen Kabbalah. And I know I made this stupid little video longer than I should have. But it says right here, you're doing anything. Solomon, his power came from Shabbathia, if you know what I fucking mean. Shabbathia. It's the top of it. There's not one above it. For the things we're doing. You want all the crap to come off you? You gotta go to Shabbathia. All the terrible stuff. Even from Jupiter's column. Even from the Jagan column. You have to use the hexagram. Right? That's my little hint. I'm not gonna crack it wide open for you. But you can get zodiacal attributes by invoking. Using the planetary hours system. Right? The planetary days system. The hexagram. I invoked Pisces on accident. I literally got a flash in the intuition that showed the Pisces symbol, right? It was a square, kind of like an emoji with the Pisces symbol, except the middle didn't protrude on one side, right? Now it's mine, right? I don't know how long you get it, but I'm reckoning the kind of stuff that Pisces is good at. The creativity, the instant mind power to pull something out of nothing. The next, I need Capricorn. That's what I'm after next. So we're going to try tonight on a Monday to see if we can invoke with the hexagram. Because that's how you get those things. You get zodiacal and planetary power through the hexagram. That's how you do it. The invoking through that. And the banishing from people that are using those planetary powers, right? And anybody under it, because the pentagram is under the hexagram, guys. I don't know if you know that. So anything that you're really doing with the pentagram, you could be doing with the hexagram if you know what you're doing, because the invoking and banishing works the same way. Do I think that you should be trying to fend a spirit off by standing in a pentagram or hexagram? That is not the method you should be doing. You want to be invoking. They don't let things go in you, like your powers, which you're supposed to have a fucking, like, a favor, a love, an authoritative response to, right? Have a fear system, a response, and a recognition system, a relationship, if you will. If you're not doing that, you're not going to run out and get anything out from this. You have to initiate yourself. You have to create a response, a relationship, right? Get that intuition sigil. Your intuition, when you're following a path, it should just bing, 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 bing. Like, I accidentally got the Pisces by doing a hexagram ritual. And I found out later that that's exactly how you get those things, right? You do the hexagram. You want something from the zodiac. You do the moon hexagram. Ararita, give me a second. Flip it around for you. Through the moon. Mercury, moon. You can use Mercury, moon. It depends on what you're trying to get, right? I think moon or Mercury is going to be the best thing to get any of the zodiac stuff. Moon's going to give it to you in your subconscious and work your intuition. Mercury, give you the information to lead you to the thing, right? It's going to make your mind open to it, right? That kind of a thing, right? The attributes that you don't have in your own individuality, in your own aspects and spectrum, can be attributed and attached, accoutrement, like demonic accoutrement. But this is zodiacal accoutrement, right? Demonic accoutrement like Aurarita El Shaddai. Ask for that power to come in you if you don't understand what's going on, right? Aurarita El Shaddai El Chaya, right? Ala Chaya, which would be the Hebrew for this guy right here. Aurarita, it's an acronym for the planets, some of the planets. I got it down here. They'll tell you what it is, right? But you got to be looking at these, some of these instructions, right? Because there's instructions. They work, right? We're dealing with the hexagram I hate on only because it's not applied right. My personal opinion. If you're not removing hexes from it, you can only remove you can only remove whatever a pentagram is. I don't know if you can remove a hex that way, because a hex has to do with the hexagram, right? Just a thought. Pentagrams have to do with one group of people's things. One set of mostly earth spirit, earthbound demons, and certain things, right? Get to deal with that. Right? You want to invoke zodiacal power, you got to use the hexagram. Right? Just some thoughts. I'll come up with another lesson on the difference between hexagram and pentagram and what you can use them for, what they're really supposed to be used for. Right? All right, just some thoughts later. Later, beloved.